Hello. Welcome back to the Carfax. This is another episode of our Tarot 101 series, and today's card is Justice. Okay. I keep saying that. I like all the cards. So I'm going to just stop saying that shit. Look, I like all the cards. Okay. Justice has a lot to do with, when you look at this, you see the scales. This individual looks very focused, right? This card pops up in a lot of cases to discuss like legalities, whether it be like property. So when this card pops up, typically I know, okay, something about maybe a lease is coming up, whether it be for an apartment, a house, a car, properties. Okay, this card shows up in regards to like relationships to discuss like balance or fairness, okay, and practicality when it comes to relationships, whether that's friendships, relationships, etc. So romantic relationships, business partnerships, etc. Make sure when this card shows up that it's fair all around the board. So make sure you're moving in a way that's just, and make sure that you're getting what you need from the situation as well. In regards to career, this card shows up in a lot of cases to talk about like positive outcomes after work being done, or like after, I just heard deliberation or moderation, mediation. Okay. This talks about like negotiations being successful, money improvements, or income and funds when upright, of course. Overall, the card for me talks about fairness and improvements. It talks about being head over heart, very logical in your doings and your actions. It talks about integrity and importance. When you think about justice, you think about things being just. Okay. I don't know why this is important too. When it comes to like anything court related, know that it'll be handled fairly. Whether that means it didn't quite go your way or not, it was handled fairly based off the situation that was presented. Okay. And in most cases, when justice is upright, it's in your favor, right? Overall, upright, the card is a reminder that with the right values, with the right morals and values, reward typically is not far behind. Things are very balanced, hence the scales. Now, when reversed, shit feels chaotic, okay, in every area. Okay, it's giving dishonesty, it's giving bad advice, it's giving I just heard thotty ho-hos. Okay, it's giving unfair treatment and feeling like you're being treated unfairly, feeling overruled by or talked over, feeling, I just heard the word demeaned as well, even by people who don't understand. And when this card reverses, it for me it plays a lot into the remembering not to be committed to explaining myself to people who are committed to misunderstanding me. So, that's just for me. When reversed, it's a reminder for me to stand tall in what I believe in, especially if I know I'm not behaving selfishly, I'm behaving justly. It's a reminder for me to stand strong in what I believe in, and to speak up, to fight for myself if necessary. I don't necessarily mean throwing them hands, but to fight for what I believe in, fight for what's right. Okay. It's also a reminder for me sometimes to remember not to meet people where they at. I used to have a bad habit of doing that shit. Okay, you want to go low? I'm going to hell. I'm finna go kiss Satan himself on the cheek. Okay. Not all the time is it necessary that you meet people where they are. Sometimes people are only going to behave to the extent and understand to the extent that their life and circumstances have placed them in positions of being able to learn. Okay. So without saying some people fucking stupid, I'm saying It's not always necessary to fight your point. Sometimes you just got to let fools argue with themselves. Eventually, shit makes sense for them later down the line. And even if it doesn't, that doesn't have to be your problem. Okay? Sometimes you are able to gift yourself justice by simply removing yourself from the equation. And this card, reversed especially, comes through to ask me, okay, boo, what's going to gift you the most fairness, even if it's simply not voicing your opinion, not using your words, you know, because it's not always necessary. Either way, like I said, the overall meaning of this card, upright or reverse for me, is that with the right values, reward in some form typically comes, even if it's in the form of your own mental sanity and external peace. Okay, that's all for today's card. Today's Tarot 101 card, that was Justice. And next up in our episode is the Hangman. Thank you so much for joining my TED Talk. I hope you learned something and begin to form your own relationship with your own cards. Okay, until next time, have a great day.